This video is all about how we make our crawfish, and we show you our crawfish recipe. Stay tuned if you want to see how we make them.
These are the best crawfish we have ever had, and we tried crawfish at other places and at good restaurants. Those crawfish don't compare. We very much prefer our crawfish recipe and process. We've tried traditional southern crawfish recipes and techniques taught to us by friends who are crawfish lovers and live in the South. They agree that the combination of our process of holding and cleaning out the crawfish combined with this recipe is outstanding. We feel that a few things set our crawfish process and recipe apart from others. For one, our crawfish are kept in holding tanks for a minimum of 3 days and fed raw spaghetti to clean them out. They are also graded to size automatically in the holding tanks. We diligently and easily sort the crawfish to ensure no dead crawfish go in the boil, and they sit for 20 minutes in salt water. We season our crawfish boiling water with swamp fire crawfish boil and extra salt. Finally, the garlic lemon butter on top over them is a delicious final touch. If you like crawfish, or if you've never tried them and just want to learn about how to trap, hold, and eat them, we share all of these methods in this video.
This is Montana Mid-Valley Farm, but we are not in Montana. We are out of town. And in this video, we're going to show you how we make crawfish. Our channel is all about using what's around you, foraging, growing, or gathering food that's around you and using it and not being wasteful, and like respecting things that are around you and doing that in a productive way, I guess. And so that's why I'm going to show you what we do when we do our crawfish boils. So to start out, first we trap the crawfish, and we just trap them right here on this dock. We could trap them, we could go to a neighbor's, we could go far away. We don't need to. There's tons of crawfish right here. Here's an example of one of the traps. Pretty simple. They crawl in there and they get stuck and they can't come out. Yes, this one is empty. It's not baited right now. If you choose to do this, you would want to look into what you're allowed to bait with. And we just tie them to the dock, throw them in, and we check them about every 4 hours right here, and we get tons of crawfish. And right now we only have 4 traps in this spot, and we were able to catch a ton of crawfish. You'll be able to see in a minute. So these are what we hold the crawfish in over here. Here's one of the holding tanks, I guess you could call it. And it's pretty loaded. Get all of them in there. We used to use these tubs because they are just regular like storage tote tubs with lids on them. We figured out we didn't really need to do that. We use a pool noodle around the outside to hold them up so they stay afloat and the crawfish don't really climb out of there or do anything. They just stay in there. We do feed them to help clean them out, which makes the crawfish taste a lot better. For about 3 days, we clean them out. We feed them raw angel hair or spaghetti pasta, and that cleans them out pretty good. So we kind of have a system where these ones are the ones we're going to eat today. And so we're always catching crawfish. This is our holding tank for our next batch that aren't cleaned out. These ones haven't been in this holding tank long enough to have eaten a bunch of pasta and been cleaned out. So these crawfish have whatever they ate last, which was likely some sort of a dead fish or something. And cleaning them out really just improves the flavor and, yeah, makes it a lot better. If you notice the holes in this tank, they are kind of large on the side. And at the bottom, there are some that are a little bit bigger. This is kind of a grading system because you can see that one couldn't quite fit out. But the really tiny ones, they fit right out of those holes, and they kind of grade themselves so we're not cooking a bunch of really small crawfish. On our other tank over here that I already pulled up, these holes are a very nice size. These holes grade them pretty well, so these don't end up being super small, the crawfish in there. So this is a little bit better. So now we're going to check a crawfish trap just to kind of show you guys what we get out of them. So we're going to pull this one up, see what we have. Haven't checked it in a couple hours. Oh, look, crawfish. I'm going to put these in a bucket. You just take this little keep off and shake them into a bucket. And try not to lose my bait. Oh, man, lost it. All right, pick that up out of there. And then put this one back in. I wanted to mention that the more frequently you check these traps, the more crawfish you will get. This trap Once they're in there, they can definitely find their way back out of this hole. So if you check this trap more often, you will get more crawfish. So if you don't check your traps often, the crawfish will just sit in there and eat the bait, and then eventually they'll find their way back out of that little hole, and that can be kind of frustrating. So just checking your traps frequently is a really good idea. You're not going to scare the crawfish away or stop them from coming in. They're still going to want to come in after that bait, so just check your traps and look at all those crawfish in there. And of course, you're going to want to check your local regulations to make sure you're keeping the correct amount in possession, and just know what you're allowed to do and what's not okay. As far as bait goes, that's something else you're going to want to check what you're allowed to bait with. But one thing that has been kind of a funny thing that we've baited with before has been a ham bone, and those seem to last for a really long time. A cooked ham bone, after you're done with it, it's kind of a discard item anyways, unless you're going to make a stock. So we used a ham bone before, and that lasted for about a week. And the fresher your bait is, the more crawfish you're going to trap. So it's good to make sure you keep that in mind as well. You've probably connected the dots that we can catch a lot of crawfish with just a couple traps here. We could be having crawfish every other day easily, but I don't really want to do that. So we go about every 3 days, maybe every 4 days. But we really make sure we are managing them well. We don't let them sit in those tanks too long. We're feeding them the spaghetti to clean them out. And just even doing that, feeding them the spaghetti to clean them out, just improves the flavor so much. We didn't used to do that, and we used to have bitter ones and ones that tasted kind of just gross. And now we don't get that anymore, and especially with our method of cooking them with the swamp fire and the salted water and the lemon garlic butter, just the whole process all the way together has just been really good for making really good crawfish. So this is how we make the garlic butter. You need 1 cup of butter is how we do it. 5 lemons, some Old Bay seasoning, some garlic powder, pepper. We use 2 bulbs of garlic, and then we use some chives from the garden up the hill, and these, you don't really need those, but we like those. Those are garlic chives, and they just kind of add a little bit more flavor to everything. So I have my pot over here. We're just going to put the butter in there. We like to roll them to get them a little bit more loose and get more of that citrus out, I guess. It seems to kind of help. See, they get a little bit squishier when you roll them. Right. We have a new lemon squeezer. See how that sucker works. Works better if you put them in this way, turns out. I did not know that. I would have done that upside down. Alright, so we are upgrading the lemon juice into a bigger bowl because that method is really getting a lot of lemon juice out. And I'm doing it this way so that it strains out all the seeds. Alright, so now we have our garlic chives chopped, our garlic all peeled. We kind of smash these a little bit too sometimes. We're going to put it all in here. The lemon we'll kind of save for a little while to put in. We're going to saute the garlic in there and get it nice and soft. This is like the best butter that we've come up with to put on the crawfish, and we've tried a lot of different recipes. Okay, we are going to season this, and we kind of just measure by feel for this. We add a little bit of Old Bay. That looks about good. Then we add a little bit of garlic. Really like it garlicky. That looks good. Something like that. And a little bit of pepper. Oops, that'll be okay. Mix it all together. And we're gonna watch this. We're not gonna let it burn. We're gonna sit and watch this. It'll cook pretty hot right now. And then pretty soon here we will turn this on low, low, low. And just let it kind of simmer and pucker. We let this simmer and pucker for an hour to an hour and a half. So kind of a while before you get the crawfish all going and everything, you have to make this butter. And this butter, this is garlic lemon butter. And this is going to be tossed on top of all the crawfish, and it just makes them super yummy. I'm going to put the chives in. Yum, that is smelling amazing. And if you want them spicier at this point, you can always add more Old Bay. We do have some different crawfish seasoning that we use that makes them pretty spicy that we'll show you down at the dock. Okay, we are going to turn the stove way down. Okay, and we're just gonna sit and let it pucker, and we're gonna just add the lemon juice right away also. So here goes that lemon juice. And we do also add lemon juice with just a bottle of lemon juice that you can just pour right in. So in this video, we're going to show you the whole process. We already have that lemon garlic butter started up in the cabin, and that will be cooking for about an hour to an hour and a half, but we have lots of chores down here to get everything ready. So the first thing we're going to do is called walking the plank. And what we do when we walk the plank is we make sure we are not eating any dead crawfish. So we make sure to pull out any crawfish as they are going down a board. We pull them out and throw them away, get them out of there so we don't accidentally cook those. All right, so let's get these out to go walk the plank. And I'll let the water drain down. Okay. All right, this is our very fancy plank walking system. It's a piece of plywood with some 2x6s and a backing board, and down here at the bottom, this bucket is filled with salt water. We let them sit in this salt water for about 20 minutes. There's about 2 cups of salt in here to about 4 gallons of water. All right, let's start walking the plank. I gotta get my tool first. Oh, you got me one? Well, I like to use a stick to help myself not get pinched, and when you see a dead one in here, they'll kind of be upside down like that, but not moving. They're pretty easy to spot. We also want to get any like pieces out, like claws and stuff like that, because that's kind of gross. And when we do have these crawfish out in the holding tanks, we leave them in there for about 3 days, and we don't overcrowd those holding tanks because the crawfish will start to die, and then they will start to eat each other, and that's pretty yucky. So we try to really manage it appropriately. So we're having crawfish quite often in the summer. That guy over there thinks he's getting away. Oh, there he goes. There's some decent sized ones in here. Look at those claws on that one. Pretty good. Another reason we really like doing this is because these are rusty crawfish, and these are an invasive species, and they're really destroying the lake up here. And doing this, we're not really putting a dent in them at all, but it is definitely more positive than negative for the lake, and that's a big benefit to doing this, and they're really delicious. And it's kind of a fun way to get together and gather, and I've been doing this ever since I can remember. And these are all methods we've kind of come up with on our own, I guess. All right, here goes a little bit more. So far, no dead ones and no piece. Oh, there's a piece. See that? Yuck. I want that in there. And having that grading system with the bucket holes really helps, because like the smallest ones we're getting in here are ones like this. Those are still pretty decent. That'll still be a decent amount of meat considering. There's another piece right there. I want to get that out of there. And they're literally walking the plank. They don't know what's in their fate for them. See, here's another little small one. It's not super small, but the grading system is definitely awesome. We didn't used to do that. That's kind of a new thing that we started doing. Some smart ones up here. No, not to go down. There's another claw piece. So crawfish is also more of like a southern thing in the southern United States, and we are in the north. We're in northern Minnesota, and this is not super popular to do here. So I'm hoping maybe some more people will start eating crawfish because they are kind of hurting our lakes, and they're really delicious, and they're right here. I mean, you want to check your regulations, but they're right here in the lakes, and they're pretty easy to catch, and they're delicious. All right, no dead ones, just a couple body parts. Okay, so now we'll let them sit in there for about 20 minutes, and we'll show you the next step in just a minute.
There is a little debate about if this saltwater method kills the crawfish. One time, we accidentally salted too many crawfish for a boil. We removed them from the saltwater and put them back in lake water in an empty holding tank, and after 3 days, none of them had died. We then cooked these crawfish in our next boil. We do prefer to place our crawfish in salt water for approximately 20 minutes before the boil because when they are removed from the salt water has a lot of debris compared to removing them from fresh water. This tells us that we will be consuming a cleaner product using this method. These rusty crayfish are very much alive when they go into that boiling water.
This is our setup for boiling the crawfish. We use a propane cooker, and we season it with some swamp fire seasoning and about 2 cups of salt. We use this little scoop for our swamp fire, which we've just put some swamp fire in this cup. To do the vegetables, we do about half of this scoop in there to season the water. We put the vegetables in, pull them out, and then we add more swamp fire for the crawfish. And with this scoop as a measurement, we do almost a full cup of this to season the water for the crawfish. So we just pulled our vegetables out of here. And so since the vegetables already came out, now we're going to add our swamp fire in for the crawfish. We are on to getting the crawfish. We pulled out the basket, and now we're going to go get the crawfish in our basket. We're back where we walked the plank, and here are our crawfish. We put the little lid on top of them just so they don't crawl out. And I have my basket over here to strain them. I'm just going to carefully pour them in there. Wait for that water to drain out so they're a little easier to carry. And we are going to take them over to the water that's going, and we're going to make sure it's boiling really rapidly and that it has enough water in it so that these die right away, and that the water is full enough to cover them completely. Okay, let's take it back over there. All right, it is back to a good boil, and we're just going to put those in there. All right, here they go. And put the lid on. It needs to come to a boil, and once it comes to a boil, we shut it off, and we let them sit in there for 8 minutes. After that 8 minutes, they are done, and then we're going to pull them out and show you what they look like. It has been an hour and a half, and our garlic lemon butter is all done. We know it is all the way done because when we try to cut one of these pieces of garlic in half, it slides right through, just like that. And they are super soft and tender. Those are really yummy to eat just by themselves too as you're eating the crawfish. It is a little caramelized in there, and it just smells amazing. Also, these have been sitting on the stove on really, really a low flame. I'll show you the flame under there. Super low. We do not want to burn this garlic lemon butter, as that can kind of be a really big bummer. So you really got to watch it. So we are going to take this down to the dock, and we are going to toss the crawfish now in just some plain lemon juice, and then we're going to toss the crawfish in this garlic lemon butter, and they are going to be ready to eat. All right, let's get these down to the dock.
Have a glove because the steam's hot. After 8 minutes, with the fire off, let the water drain back into the pot. Most of it. We use a double roaster just because it fits, and we have it. Lots of lemon. Toss them in there. That's another reason we like this roaster. A little more lemon. The lemon goes on first because it soaks into them. Put the butter on first. Nothing soaks in except the butter. And whatever they put in the butter. And then toss until it's all the same. That butter is not just sitting in the bottom. There's not a drop of butter in here, so they soak it all up. And we're done.
It is important to note that you should spice your crawfish to taste. Again, this whole method is just what we prefer. We started putting less spice in the boiling water because of the kids, but it's not as if we are sacrificing because these are super yummy. Cleaning them out in the holding tanks and using the garlic lemon butter sauce make all the difference. Again, this is our method and everyone has a different method, and if you like your method better, that's how you should prepare your crawfish. But we prefer this method and it's too good not to share with others. So to review our cooking process, we prefer to cook the veggies first. You can cook any vegetables in the boiling water that you like, but it might be a good idea to add the vegetables with the longest cook time first and then add veggies with shorter cook times as you get toward the end of your cook time so that they all come out properly done and at the same time. For example, our favorites are gold or red potatoes, carrots and mushrooms cooked first for about 20 minutes, and then corn goes in for the last 5 minutes of this cook time. These veggies are removed and placed in a roasting pan with a lid on them to help keep them warm. Next, the crawfish are placed in the boiling water, and when the water returns to a boil, we shut the cooker off and they sit for exactly 8 minutes. The crawfish come out of the water in exactly 8 minutes, so they stop cooking. If they are overcooked, they stick to the shell and are a little harder to peel. The last thing we cook in the boiling seasoned water are any meats for the boil like brats or sausage. The brats or sausage need to be cooked last as they seem to let off a grease which will coat the crawfish and prevent the lemon juice and then lemon garlic butter from penetrating the crawfish. So we make sure to cook the brats and sausage last. Okay, now let's finally get into opening up some of these crawfish.
Our crawfish are all cooked, and this is how you open them. You spread them out like that. Twist this guy apart right here. Then you have the tail. Twist it and pinch the back of the tail, and that comes out. And that part is all for eating. This over here, if you want to eat the head, you can. You open it up like this. That part is all good to eat. And this part too. And they're super yummy. A lot of people don't like to do that, but a lot of people do. The claws, you push it right here. Take that apart. You can take this little pincher out. And sometimes you can get lucky and you can suck the claw meat out if you suck right there. And it came right out. And that claw's done. All those shells here you discard and just kind of go to town eating them. So I'll do another claw. Pull it out. That one came right out. If the claws don't come out, we take that front part off again and you just kind of put it in your mouth and break the shell. And then you take this apart. And here is the claw meat. Somebody else wants it. And I'll show a tail again real quick. So you open the body up and I like to hold the legs with the body and go back and forth. It comes right in half. And then this part, you twist it. This part comes off. You give the little tail a pinch on the back, and that comes out. There's the whole tail. I have a baby birdie over here eating. And then you can eat the head. Some people just like literally suck on the heads. I like to open them and get that part out. And yeah. Super yummy. And all these shells, normally we put them in a 5-gallon bucket to pile them up. I don't normally pile them up on my plate. And we just eat them up. That lemon garlic butter is really good. It gets in there and it's just super yummy. It's the best way we found to cook them. We really like it. You open it up like this, hold the legs with the body, twist this side to side, and then right kind of in the middle, you twist it side to side like that, see how it broke, and then pull it. This part comes off, get rid of that, pinch the back right here, and there is the tail.
After all of that prep, it's time to enjoy some delicious crawfish. We hope you enjoyed this video and maybe got an idea or two from our trapping, holding, and cooking methods. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and please like this video. Thanks for watching.